Now, a lot of people are great at setting goals or resolutions on New Year's, but when it comes time to actually building a detailed plan to follow to do it, they fall short. And that's why it becomes hard to execute once you hit the middle of January, getting into February or March. Now, if you're planning to buy a home in 2020, I'm going to give you 5 resolutions that are going to help you do that. Hi everyone, Happy New Year. My name is David Haun and I'm a local real estate expert in Tulare County. I also own and operate YourTulareCountyHome.com, which is a local real estate property search site that allows you to look at homes, find out information about the neighborhoods, the local schools. Now the great thing about YourTulareCountyHome.com is that it's hyper-local and it's always up to date. It's directly linked to our local MLS and is updated every 10 minutes, unlike a lot of those third-party sites that you might be using that are often days behind. Now I'd like to welcome you to the SOS Project. The SOS stands for Service Over Sales, which is the mentality that I've taken on since I've started in real estate. Real estate agents have developed a bit of a reputation of being salesy or high pressure or focused on the transaction more than the person. Now the SOS Project is going to be all about you. That means it's going to be completely no pressure. I'm not going to be selling myself. I'm not going to be promoting myself. I might recommend other vendors or tell you that I have recommendations and allow you to reach out to me for those if that's something you desire to do. But again, I'm trying to bring all of these things from a place of service rather than trying to be salesy at all, because that doesn't fit my personality. It's just not something that's ever resonated with me. And I feel like the most important thing I can do is build relationships and connect with people and help in any way that I can, whether that's real estate related or not. Here we are again. It's the first day of 2020, and I can smell your New Year's resolutions on the air. Honestly, I'm interested to know what you guys are thinking about, what you're planning to do or to take on, or what areas you're planning to grow in 2020. So feel free to comment me or reach out to me and talk about that. I'm very interested to hear what you guys are working on. Now, a lot of people are great at setting goals or resolutions on New Year's, but when it comes time to actually building a detailed plan to follow to do it, they fall short. And that's why it becomes hard to execute once you hit the middle of January, getting into February or March. Now, if you're planning to buy a home in 2020, I'm going to give you 5 resolutions that are going to help you do that. Now, your first resolution is going to be to start now. That means getting your credit checks now, finding out where you're at, and even meeting with a lender in a preliminary type manner, to help you build a plan to attack that credit score if that's an issue. Or, in most cases that might mean paying off debt. In some cases that might mean opening new accounts to help you build a better debt to credit ratio. That's what's fun about real estate, is it's always very situational. So you want to meet with an expert as early as possible in order to make sure that you're building a plan that's going to help you reach your goals as quickly as possible. Now, with it being New Year's, it's also a great time to take a look at your spending, look at your monthly subscriptions and things like that, and see where you can start cutting. Now, that's going to allow you to help build your budget for 2020, which is going to show you what you've got to spend on a mortgage payment once you get to that point. Now, your second resolution is going to be to start building a solid credit history. Now, typically, you're going to need at least 2 years of consistent employment, and the longer that you stay in the same job, the better. So try to avoid job hopping if you can. Also, avoid making large purchases. That means no cars, no motorhomes, no boats, no snowmobiles, no skis. Try to avoid buying impulsively. Like I said, this is a great time to build a new budget and really start adhering to that to see how much you've got to spend on your new home in 2020. In most cases, you're going to want to reduce your credit card debt as much as possible. Now, as I mentioned, this is very situational. In some cases, if you have no credit at all or very little credit history, it actually helps to start spending money on credit cards to build up your credit. But a lot of these things you aren't going to know unless you meet with a lender or a real estate professional to start finding out exactly where you are and what you need to do to get to where you want to be. Now, again, in most cases, you're also going to want to avoid new credit cards or new loans. This is because additional inquiries can affect your credit score, and while we're trying to work on your credit score, this is something we typically want to avoid. But again, we're not going to know for sure until we've got a full picture of your situation. Our third resolution is going to be to start hoarding cash. It can take a lot of money up front to buy a home in some cases, depending on your loan program. And again, this is another reason to meet with a lender and a real estate professional as quickly as possible to identify where you are and where you're planning to be. But you're going to want to try to figure out how much your down payment's going to be and how much your closing costs are going to be, because these two numbers put together could be, $10,000 plus dollars, and it's something that you're probably going to have to start saving for a few months in order to buy the home that you're looking for in 2020. Now, a little sub point and a great tip in order to get started quickly would be to file your income taxes fast. If you're planning to get a refund back, let's get that in as quickly as possible, get you some money up front to start building that nest egg. And once you start seeing that number there being saved and see it starting to grow, it builds momentum, and it helps you really feel the excitement of moving closer to your goals of owning a home in 2020. Now, your fourth resolution is going to be to get all of your documents together. You're going to need W-2s, you're going to need bank statements, you're going to need employer check stubs, you're going to need employment information, you're going to need probably a list of assets, in certain cases. You're going to need to have all these things together for the lender when you go in to get pre-approved. And that actually takes us into our fifth resolution, which is going to be get pre-approved. Now, it's so important to meet with a lender early in the process, even if you don't think you're ready, because they can help you identify the best loan opportunities for you. And with so many different loan programs out there with different rates, different down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, there's just so many programs out there. For example, you might be able to get into a program that doesn't have you paying mortgage insurance, which can save you hundreds of dollars a month on the home that you're purchasing. So it's important to meet with a lender just so you can build a plan of action to get there. Now, another sub point, our sixth resolution, is going to be to find a real estate professional that you trust. Find out how long they've been in the business, how many people they've helped, and, even ask them some of the details about some of the tough situations they've had and how they've handled it. Getting a great agent is super important, and I can tell you as a real estate professional that there is a huge gap between the great agents and the worst agents. It's not one of those industries where, one size fits all and every agent's the same. So, spend your time, interview agents, and really find somebody that you feel like you vibe with and that you can trust. All right, if you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll have more episodes coming soon. Thank you.